Most investors think more leads solve the problem. But sometimes the real breakthrough comes from building a system that follows up faster, creates better conversations, and turns opportunities into contracts. In this case study, Zach and his team break down how 2 inbound seller leads turned into profitable flip opportunities projected to generate over $100,000 in profit combined. Let's dive in.
Right, Zach. Obed, congratulations on your newest couple of deals. Um, those are not the first ones. You guys also had a few other wins in the last couple of months. So congratulations on these last two. Those were the ones that triggered our conversation today. Also because of we're enjoying having Obed as part of the team from the last couple of weeks. So it's been a lot more smoother experience for the whole flipping Shenandoah team. Okay. So what do you guys want to say about how the whole experience has been for you guys? What can you guys tell me?
Yeah, sure. So what's been great is all the support of the logistics and all the technology that I know nothing about and that you guys take and just run with and, make sure that everything is going full steam ahead. But at the same time, we're able to collaborate on that and make sure that, appropriate limits are set and boundaries are set for ad spend and things like that. So we can find the perfect blend and perfect balance of what we need for our company and work with at the scale that we need. And so that's been phenomenal for us to be able to rely on you guys for that.
That's awesome, man. Good to know. What were you guys doing before joining Hesel Media a few months ago?
Before we were just working off of word of mouth, wholesaling networks as well, and just relationships that we have in our local network. And it just wasn't enough, or there wasn't enough margin in the deals, and we knew we needed to get directly to sellers as soon as possible in order for this to really take off.
Okay. That's awesome, man. That you were able to plug into our system. I know that you've seen the value from day one. We were discussing before starting this conversation that it hasn't always been super smooth, and it was a little bit of a rocky soil, especially because you didn't have the time. You also brought someone to your team, but you ended up now working with Obed instead. So it's been a little bit of a rocky soil, but you've had your own successes on the road. Do you want to add something about that? I mean, not the ones that we're discussing today, which is Tony and the other ongoing one that you have, which is forgot her name.
Mary.
But before, talk to me about the other deals before. So tell me about how it went. Are those closed deals already? Do you have some listings? Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, sure. Prior to Obed coming on, I sat in the seat of managing the business, owning the business, answering the calls, taking the appointments, closing the deals, and that left me very little room to be able to do anything else. And so many calls got unanswered. Many calls were not returned if they were deemed to be somewhat outside of our buy box, but we realized those needed to be connected with anyways in order to figure out how our system is running, how it's working, and how to continually improve it. And so we brought on a local guy here to man the phones and take these calls and create appointments, and he just dropped the ball. It wasn't what he expected it to be, and so we ended up transitioning out of that. At the point, I sat in the hot seat again for a little while until we found Obed. During those times where I was in the hot seat, I was closing deals, which was great, all through the system, the ones that could work, the ones that we had enough margin on, or we could step in and list the property. Having been a listing agent for 12 years, I was able to do that relatively seamlessly, but I knew there was money left on the table because I can't handle all of it. So now that Obed is here, He's taken a large chunk of that off my plate, and he's doing well already.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff, my friend. So all those deals that you worked on a few months ago, you've already cashed in, like those already are closed deals?
Yeah, we are actually flipping one right now. The very first one we got was within a month of signing up with you guys, and it worked out perfectly. We just had a couple months delay because there were tenants in the property that had to relocate before we closed. And so right now we're actually flipping that and should be done in a matter of weeks and get that to the market. So we're excited about that. Yeah.
Anything you can share about the potential revenue or not really?
Yeah, we're looking at 40,000 plus on that one.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Repairs, how much in repairs?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Yeah, what was the repairs like? Was it like a lot of work, a big project, small project?
How much is going in? Do you remember, Josh? I can't remember how much is going into Elm.
I can't remember right now.
I'm asking my project manager.
I can check.
I think it's probably something like 50 or 60,000.
I think it's
Yeah.
Is that like a medium-sized project for you guys, more or less?
Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Okay, great stuff. So let's start talking about the most recent ones. Okay. So let's focus. There is one deal that you've been working on your own, that you're following up on that one. That is Mary. So let's start with that one. So do you remember, did you find this one? Was it on the MLS? Was it off market? Tell me more about it.
Mary called into one of our ads or submitted a form, and so it's completely off market. She's the homeowner. She is just not able to care for the property the way the property needs it from her. And she wants to downsize and move to be closer to some family out a couple cities away, a couple hours from here.
Okay.
She had purchased the property with her husband approximately 10 or 12 years ago, and he passed away 2 years ago. And so she's just ready to leave it behind. It's too much of a burden for her to carry, and it's just a constant reminder of a life she no longer has. So we were able to step in. I went and inspected the property myself and figured out how much it would take for me to bring it up to speed. And we were able to make her a fair offer that she was happy with and has agreed to. So we'll be signing off on that sometime this week. And we'll give her a couple months to gather things and move out, and then we'll go and take the property and renovate it, put it on the market, and make a good profit.
Okay, so you guys are gonna flip it as well?
More than likely, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and it needed. She submitted the form saying that it needed a lot of repairs and damage, and that it was damaged. So what was it?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. She submitted the form. What was that?
Yeah, saying that it needed repairs and that there was damage. So what was the condition of the house?
It's just an older house. There's not a ton of damage. They actually have done a lot of work to it themselves. I'd say it's probably about halfway there. It just needs some more TLC. We have to put some vinyl siding on. We're going to replace a couple windows, a lot of paint, some drywall here and there.
Okay.
Nothing's really in disrepair. It's just kind of halfway where it needs to be.
Okay, so they were aware that they couldn't just put it on the MLS and it wouldn't like compete with the more like ready to move houses.
That's right. I mean, she didn't really want to try and list it because she didn't want to clean the property up and get it ready for showings. She just liked the shortcut of a cash deal. And she was reasonable on her pricing to be able to work with us so that, we were able to get a deal that made sense for both of us in order to make that work. So,
okay, tell me a little bit about the financial breakdown. So what was her initial asking price and what was the final acquisition you guys secured?
So give me 1 second and I'll pull it up here.
Sure.
She did not have an asking price.
Okay.
she was relying on me and my expertise for that.
Mm.
And yeah, and so I'd say the house in its current condition, if she was able to move out and get everything cleaned up and, you know, do some landscaping, it was a significant amount of landscaping. So if she was able to spend $10,000 to $15,000 in, you know, time and energy, then she probably could have listed it and got around 180 for it.
Mhm.
You know, by the time she put 10K into that, and then has realtor fees on top of the one, you know,
Mm.
she's back down to like 150. So we made her a deal for 150 on it.
50. Okay, that's super fair. That's
Yeah,
really fair.
so that worked out. And in the end, you know, we'll probably spend about 120 on the rehab, possibly. I mean, that's really liberal. I mean, it could be as low as 80, and we should be able to sell it for close to 400,000. So we should make a pretty substantial profit on this, anywhere from 70 to 80,000.
That's more like a bigger project for you guys.
Yeah, it'll be probably a 6-month long process.
Yeah.
From
Is
start to
that,
finish.
would you guys categorize that as a full renovation?
Yeah, I would. Yep.
Okay. Awesome. This is so good, man. Bringing some initial TLC to this home and then putting up, I mean, like getting up to speed for good family to move on, to have a new house to enjoy. So that's great. Okay. That's good, man. I mean, guys, numbers don't lie. And you kind of like mentioned already her why. What do you think made them sign? Like, what was that thing that said to them, like, we're ready to go? That we have that verbal agreement that we want to do this with you guys. What do you think? What was that pivot moment where they knew it was with you?
That's kind of the thing with me is I really enjoy meeting people in person and hearing their story.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm able to sit down with them and validate the things that they're going through and understand it as if I'm in their own shoes. Just show compassion. I mean, she was shedding tears in our conversation, and I choked up a bit too, you know? And so I think just being able to connect with someone in a deep way, in a place of pain, really just establishes trust. And from where I'm sitting, you know, that's not a manipulation. It's just a real authentic piece of what we're able to do. And when we can do that and really listen to somebody and really understand and come to them where they are, and then meet a need that's fair for everyone, I think that's when they're ready to sign on the dotted line.
Okay, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Okay, let's talk about the other one. Okay, real quick for you. That one, would you say was an easy, a medium, or a difficult conversation with her? Like, what would you rate that deal?
I wouldn't call it difficult because there was not really pushback or challenge from her. So I would say medium because of the skill level it takes to actually have a conversation.
Okay, awesome. All right, let's do the other one. That's where Obed jumps in. That's Tony Cook. That's actually really one of the most recent ones. It took a couple of days to get signed. So can you tell us a little bit about it, Obed? How did it start? How did it start? What do you remember? How did the conversation go? What did she share with you? All of that good stuff.
Yeah, no, I think that was a great process. I think it's just for the availability of just the plug and play of the system. You know, I was very familiar with other CRMs, so I was able to come in and you know, take the leads, be able to clean up a couple of stuff that was on the CRM already. And yeah, that was a particular lead that just stuck out to me. Like Mr. Zach, he's very good at, you know, the charisma part of things, finding middle ground with clients and things like that. So just being able to hear some of the conversations that were had already, that were in the system, that I think that's what I really like about it, that everything is timestamped. You have recordings, you have you're able to go and, back in the past and see how it is that the company operates, and
Mhm.
just adapt to that. Be be very adaptable. With that one in particular, I believe it was on my 2 week mark here. It was just a property that stood out. She needed help on the property as well. It was a little bit of needed a bit of repairs here. Also here, let me see if I can pull it up. But yeah, that one automatically stood out as a good opportunity. I was able to pass that off, and yeah, Zach knocked it out the park with that one as well.
Okay, this person actually watched one of Zach's videos. Did she mention any of that? Oh, did he mention any of that?
Talking about Tony.
Tony.
Yeah, I asked him, I think when I met him, I said, so how'd you get connected with us? And he said, he thinks he saw one of our ads come into his Facebook or something, or his wife
Yeah.
saw it or something like that.
Yeah, so, and actually Mary as well. I don't know if you guys knew that, but she also watched your video ad, your UGC. For everyone who don't know what that is, that means user-generated content videos. And those work really well, especially with campaigns focused on a local market, because it definitely shows that you guys are ready to put your face out there, your brand, and a lot of people see that trust from the beginning. So it was good to know that both of those recent deals, are coming from that type of ad. That being said, so anything else you want to add on those initial conversations? I think it was a good conversation, about 24 minutes or something. Then I saw a couple of like shorter conversations of like 3 minutes and 2 minutes. Can you tell me a little bit about that process with that person? How did it go, Obed?
Yeah, that was actually a very smooth process. I think that's what really stood out to me. Working with people that actually want to work with you, that are looking for help, and yeah, just guidance on how the property is. Like I said, Mr. Zyke is just very great with finding a middle ground, looking for the
Mhm.
best opportunity on both ends. And so I took a little bit of that in the initial call, and yeah, I just kind of added my own touch. It was about a 24, maybe 30-minute call in the initial one, and then a couple follow-ups, and I think it
Uh,
led to a very good opportunity.
So your objective during that first call, what was it? To schedule a call with Zach, or that was done in the subsequent calls?
Yeah, that was more of a discovery call, I would say. It was to gather a little bit more information, see what their motivation was, trying to dig into
Yeah.
exactly what was going on. And like I said, a very
Okay.
casual, very friendly approach in the beginning is
So based on what I'm hearing, that's been the process so far. So you guys, I mean, Obed's job is to do a little bit of what you do in person, Zach, but he's doing it on initial phone calls, right? Is that a little bit of how it goes for you?
Yeah, so Obed's job is to go as far as he can with everything. And if it's a fix and flip property or something that I can look at in person, or one of my inspectors can look at in person nearby, then I'll jump in and take it from there when he sets an appointment. So, but yeah, and then if it's a property that's farther away that we would either, wholesale or try and list or something like that, or refer to someone else, then I'll just take a quick look and evaluate it, let him know how to proceed, and he'll take it from there.
Okay, so and then Obed is scheduling a call for potentially presenting the offer, basically. In those cases where you don't go to a property, correct?
Correct. Yeah, that's right. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think he's
Okay.
had that opportunity yet. We're getting pretty close though.
Okay. I was gonna say about that. Like, how is that experience? What challenges are you guys seeing with those type of situations? And that's
Why
more
don't
for
you
you.
speak into that, Obed?
yeah. Can you reiterate the question one more time? I apologize.
Yeah, it's just we're discussing the current setup. So the ones that are open to flips, right? Or that you, I mean, Zach or like an inspector or someone wants to do some more research, those we kind of like have proof of concept because you guys got your first deal basically. But Zach is also telling me that sometimes what you're doing is you're, I mean, you're gonna do initial discovery, and you guys are getting close to also use scheduling an offer call whenever the house is a little bit farther away, or even the house, even it's maybe, I don't know if it's a listing or something that doesn't need like a property visit, or you guys may want a wholesale. So eventually, I know that you've been doing this for a couple of weeks, but eventually you're gonna get to a point where you're gonna start presenting those offers, right? So my question was like, right now, the way the process is set up, what do you think have been some challenges or roadblocks for you to make your first offers? If there has been any, maybe it's just a matter of time, but I just want to hear from you.
Yeah, no, I think yeah, it's still a numbers game. You know what I mean? I think when more come in, we get more opportunities. But just having different exit strategies is key. When properties like that come in, you have to take a step back, see what really works, see how far it is, and how much time and energy has to be invested into it. Other times we might even get things out of state, and if we have something in that area that we can help them with, we'll definitely at least point them in the right direction. Like I said, a lot of the times the roadblocks do come from, their asking price, or maybe, they're just too far out. Sometimes they may go and talk to a real estate agent, and they promise them the world, or maybe another investor. A lot of the times, I think that's one of the biggest roadblocks, is when they talk to other investors who just promise the world, promise,
Mhm.
uh, and then, or they've had just bad experiences where they did put them under contract, they weren't able to, get their number at the end, and it was just all around a bad experience for them, and so they come with that idea. So like I said, I think it's a numbers game at the end of the day. I think one of those is definitely going to stick. Great follow-ups though. It gives me time to, let them look into the market, let them look into property, and just be able to touch bases, down the line.
Okay. Zach, do you want to add something into that?
Sure. I would say one of the biggest challenges anybody has when trying to acquire property and scale is being able to say no. And because it's exciting when a deal comes across your desk or an opportunity, and you want to try and make it work any way you can. But that's why we have things like a buy box, right? And so I think, especially if, someone's sitting in Obed's seat that's new, right, or that is inexperienced, being able to really dial that in and say, hey, listen, there's all kinds of people we can help. But we're in the business of buying these houses, or helping this kind of situation, or making this amount of money. And so the more no you can say, the more opportunities you have to find the correct yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm glad that you mentioned that, guys, because I mean, I'm checking my notes on the call. I mean, I did listen to Tony Cook's call. And one of the things that I'm noticing that we haven't implemented, that my clients that are getting the best possible results closing deals on the phone are using, is how they set up the offer call. So what does that mean? It's not the same to set up an offer call in a way that I'm just gonna bring any offer, and it's okay if you tell me maybe.
Right.
So one of the 4 fundamental rules that they have is that they do not allow like properties or deals to sit on a limbo of like, they're not in hell, they're not in heaven, but they're somewhere in the middle, right? They let me think about it. They let me talk to my wife. They let me see what other investors have to say. And instead encouraging a confident yes or no from the sellers. That makes the whole difference from this type of set of clients, because think about it for a minute. If the person cannot say maybe, that means they're either gonna say yes if they're ready, or they'll let you know the reasons why they could not say yes, right? Even before you schedule the offer call, so you can have a better timing for the offer call. But if they say, yeah, I'm okay with that confident yes or no, and then if they're not ready to tell you no, what basically is happening is that they still give you a little bit of permission to explain, if the number is not clear to them, how you guys came up with it. You guys will have that opportunity to explain that to them and maybe turn that maybe into a possible yes, right? But after some back and forth on during that offer call, if they end up deciding that a no is better, that's also good, because that opens up the path for either offering another exit strategy. Maybe cash offer wasn't good for them, right? Even if it's wholesaling, right? Cash offer may not be good for them. So maybe you guys can, I don't know, do a, if that's an area that where you're not licensed, maybe do a referral for a listing. Maybe get into innovations if you guys are not doing that yet. Maybe other ways of like monetizing that deal. Okay. So look into that, how you schedule that offer call. It's gonna be amazing. I know that there is a time in between, because if I'm understanding correctly, you have that initial call over, then you communicate that to Zach, and then Zach comes back to you with what's gonna happen with that property, right? If it's gonna be a property visit or if it's gonna be an offer call from you. So if that
Yeah.
is the case, then the recommendation is jump into a secondary call in case you're gonna end up making an offer, but don't jump to make the offer. Jump with the excuse that you need some more data, because there were some yellow flags in the local market from your underwriting partners, and that you need to deep dive a little bit before you can send that data back to them so they can present you with an offer. So that's a little bit of a trick, right? To re-engage, do an even better deep dive to understand what's really going on. And then that's when you guys do the full underwriting, schedule the offer call. So those two small tweaks, and it should help you work with the rest of the leads. Sounds good? Questions,
good.
comments, or is clear enough?
It's good.
Okay, awesome. All right. So that being said, can you tell me a little bit of how it ended up happening with that Tony Cook guy? So what's the deal? Do you guys go and visit? Tell me more.
Yeah, Obed scheduled the appointment, and then I went there and met him and looked at the house. The house has already been emptied and vacant. He had tenants there that left, and it's his own house he built, I think about 10, 11 years ago. And so, but yeah, we walked through, and it really is just a cosmetic flip, but he was giving me a good deal on it to be able to get in there and flip that. And there's a high ARV on the other end because
So he did have an asking price, and it was a good asking price.
yeah. In fact, I was able to give him just a little bit more because it's going to cost me less to get in there and flip it. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So he was super excited then.
Yeah, he was. He was great. Yeah. I mean, his asking price was 400. And then he tried to raise it to 410. I said, how about 402? He said 405. I said, sure, that's fine.
Okay.
We'll put probably 30,000 into it, maybe. And we'll sell it for 120,000 more, somewhere around 515, I think. And so we should be able to make a solid 40 to 50,000 on that.
Okay, that's really good. And what was his reason for selling? his big why to make it
Yeah,
work.
he just didn't want to deal with the property anymore. You know, he had tenants there. They gypped him on some rent. You know, it just left a bad taste in his mouth. He didn't want to deal with fixing it up. He didn't want to deal with showings.
Mhm.
Yeah, and he also had a relative who was a real estate agent
Mhm.
somewhere else out of state or in another part of the state that recommended he just sell it cash.
Mhm.
And so,
Yeah,
yeah,
I believe it was his daughter actually.
yeah, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
But that recommendation happened afterwards or before you guys talked to him?
I think that was before. It had nothing to do with us, though. I think, just told him, "Hey, you're better off selling it for cash than trying to fix it up and put it on the market."
So you would say this one was an easy one,
Yeah,
not a medium.
right. I would say so. Yes.
Wow, and that's definitely the magic of being on top of it from the moment it came in, right?
Oh yeah,
You could have lost it to somebody else.
yeah. 100% could have been somebody else. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so Obed, you're already making a huge difference for flipping Shenandoah. So congratulations on that. Awesome. So I think you mentioned everything that it was important about this last deal with Tony. Some good numbers looking, so numbers don't lie. Okay, so let's wrap it up. Okay, so guys, incredible execution. Looking forward to see more of this stuff. Like I said today, is a success call, but also a success strategy call. We discussed some strategic things that you guys can continue to implement to make the system even more predictable. That it doesn't depend on any one of you guys to truly. That's what it means. That is what it means at the end, right? That you guys are doing, taking the responsibility of every seat and doing it to the best of your abilities, and that way anybody else can come in, already see what's being implemented that works, and then just be able to reproduce it. Almost like making it not dependent on just talent. Talent matters, experience matters, but making it dependent on a repeatable system more than just talent, right? That being said, just to kind of like wrap up, for you, Zach, what would you say to someone who was on the fence, who can be on the fence of starting out with us? Like, what would you tell them if they were listening to this?
Don't do it unless Carlos is your guy.
Okay.
There you go. No, I'm just kidding around. If someone's on the fence about whether they should work with you guys,
Yeah.
all I can say is, you know, everything has surpassed the expectations that I had initially had. You know, when I was starting to figure out, you know, trying to figure out how do we want to market ourselves, I always knew I would want to hire it out and fragment that part of my business to someone who's an expert, the people who know what they're doing already. Because otherwise it's a new skill I'd have to learn and try and figure out, and it's too much on my plate. And so, regardless of who you work with, you want to make sure it's somebody who knows what they're doing. But what has been great that I didn't really understand from the beginning is that in addition to just pushing ads out there that are successful, you guys require feedback in order to adjust them so that they always continually improve. And you offer training that you offer sales trainings and business building trainings. And that was something that was a nice bonus that I didn't even realize. And then with your partnership with Remote Latinos to be able to help us land an awesome, recruit like Obed, just was icing on the cake. So you guys really have solved just every piece of it that we could think of, and then some that we didn't think of too. So it's been great.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome, man. I'm glad that has been your experience. And definitely, you just mentioned the sister company, Remote Latinos. That's also great that we were able to provide that help bringing Obed. So 100%. I mean, I'm excited for what's coming. I'm happy for what has been done so far, but I'm even more excited for what's coming because Like seems like everything is in place. You guys need to keep working on those small tweaks, because at the end of the day, those do compound in time. So that's it. Thank you so much, guys. Obed, thank you so much.
Consistent follow-up, real conversations, and a repeatable system create predictable deal flow. If you want motivated seller leads and a system to close more profitable deals, book a call with Hesel Media. We'll see you in the next case study.